The Wall Street Journal has an article out about Elon Musk and his network of baby mamas. There's one baby mama in particular named Ashley St. Clair who talks about how Elon Musk's fixer, this guy who manages a lot of his money and relationships with women apparently, offered her $15 million and $100,000 a month in support in exchange for her silence about the child. He apparently would refer to his offspring to her as a legion, which is a reference to ancient military units that could contain thousands of soldiers, were key to extending the reach of the Roman Empire. The article also talks about how he approached a woman who's an influencer on X and offered her his sperm. So I think we know of around 14 kids that Elon has, and there probably are a lot more that we're not aware of, but he's not the first and only billionaire to be obsessed with spreading his sperm. I'm writing a book about some of my experiences with powerful men, wealthy men in high positions of power and society. And a lot of them had this, I don't know if you would call it a fetish, but obsession. I don't know what the right word is, but one, for instance, he inherited his money. He didn't make his money. His father was a very wealthy venture capitalist, and he was really obsessed with writing a screenplay about how it was loosely based off of a Roald Dahl book about how a scientist paired with the most beautiful woman in the world to seduce the genius men of the world. So like Picasso is named, I forget who else is named, but this woman seduces the men, and then they're given this beetle powder that's a huge aphrodisiac, and then she collects their sperm and sells their sperm to women who are rich and willing to pay for genius men's sperm. So he was really obsessed with the screenplay. I don't know if it went anywhere, but that was one example. Another guy who I dated who owned a sports team, about a month into our relationship, he sits me down and he says, I don't know if this is going to be a deal breaker for you. He was divorced. He had an 11-year-old son. But he said he didn't know if he was going to meet a woman who he really connected with, but he knew that he wanted more kids. He was in his early 50s. So he had gone ahead and selected an egg from a list of egg donors. It's kind of like dating, but you're choosing profiles based on their genetics and eggs. He chose this egg donor, rented a surrogate, basically rented a uterus, and he's like, yeah, baby's coming in a month. And this guy is a sports team owner, so he really wanted his son to be a basketball player. So he chose a very tall black woman to be the egg donor. I remember when I was not there when the baby was born, but he went to visit, to be there as the surrogate was in labor and giving birth. And afterwards, he sent me a picture, and I said I was really happy for him and excited for him. And he was like, I don't know why I did this. Like, what is this child? Like, what? It felt like a purchase at the time, like a good idea at the time. I knew that my 11-year-old son was getting older, and therefore I wanted another spawn, essentially, to have at my side, even if it wouldn't work out with a woman. I think there's this intrinsic, I don't know what it is, this thirst or quest for domination, to replicate themselves, to have control over someone who's a child. I think this is why Elon Musk has such a problem with Vivian Wilson, his estranged daughter, because he doesn't have any control over her. Claims that she died because she came out as a woman. But they definitely reach a point where they've dominated the game in the system, and then they just want to clone themselves or create beings that they would have wanted to be like. So in this case, this sports team owner wanted a tall basketball playing child. So he tried to orchestrate that. Interesting.